Hey everybody, what's up and welcome back to Macabre'Gorium Labs. Bats here, and I thought it might be kind of cool if we took a look back at every time we discussed Nickelodeon's iconic green slime right here on the channel. From its humble beginnings as a pile of rotten trash to being able to buy it in small gack-shaped containers, this is the history in its entirety that we've found of Nickelodeon's iconic green slime. Some of the content in the following video some viewers might find a little inappropriate or be a little sensitive to, so viewer discretion is advised.
The regular broadcast of You Can't Do That on Television will not be seen at this time. In its place, a program about television.
That's right. In today's lesson, we're going to be taking a look at a beloved Nickelodeon classic show with a video that has as much corny writing as the topic it's based on. However, before we get started, I'd like to point out that this particular lesson is going to be more of a showcase.
Make note that we do have plans to make a homage-style extended remake of this video in the future. For that, we are working on adding a few special things.
And if everything falls perfectly into place, there'll be a few things in the remake that you won't be able to find anywhere else. Moving on, the story of this show takes us back to the year 1979 to a location in Ottawa, Canada, where a totally rad kids television program would be made called You Can't Do That on Television. The show would originally air on Ottawa's CTV station CJOH-TV. It was designed specifically for American audiences and achieved really high ratings. However, it wouldn't air in the United States until 1981. From that point on, Nickelodeon would air new episodes up until the year 1990, and after that, Nick would air reruns until 1994. This show featured child and early to mid-teen actors that would randomly host the program with a series of comedy sketches interwoven between the hosted segments. This show and its sketches, as well as format, were very similar to that of Kids in the Hall,
Destroy the planet.
Betty, could you hold all calls, please? Thanks.
Saturday Night Live,
Live from Burbank and New York, it's Saturday night.
and Mr. Show.
Have you ever stolen from an employer?
Yes,
And where were you employed?
NASA.
It is important to note that none of those shows are appropriate for kids, whereas You Can't Do That on Television was made for kids by kids.
Naturally, that was part of what made this show great. But the other thing that made this show so special was, of course, the introduction of the green slime gimmick. Which we will be covering in just a moment. You Can't Do That on Television became a staple in many kids' lives from that point in time. Its sketches would usually be based on a mix of pop culture and issues that kids actually have to face growing up. Occasionally, this show would hit on more difficult topics such as race, adoption, being adopted, sexual equality, bullies, crime, and even had an episode about drugs where cigarettes were used as a representation for illegal substance abuse, followed by a cast conversation about the making of the episode, which in its own way turned out to be somewhat of a nice little PSA that showed the cast's disapproval of said substances.
Yes, I know. I watch the program. You're splatting pies all the time.
Ross, it's just part of the show. That was just to demonstrate how dumb it is for kids to use drugs.
You're kidding.
We don't even like to splat pies, Ross.
We hate having to splat pies, Ross.
Hey Bats, you forgot to mention that both the adoption and divorced episodes were banned due to their content.
Why, yes they were, and according to our research, the adoption and divorce episodes' master tapes even had stickers placed on them that read, "Do not air." However, we will look into whether or not we can upload the banned clips. After all, the show is over 40 years old at this point.
Wait, Bats. Aren't you also forgetting to mention the very different show that this actually started out as?
Oh, I almost forgot about that. So yeah, according to our research, as well as digging through an archive collection we found online and some old VHS tapes we bought at an estate sale, You Can't Do That on Television wasn't actually a sketch comedy show in the beginning. Now, to be fair, we didn't actually sit down and go through all of the first edition episodes, but from what we can tell, it was actually more of an MTV-style show with interviews and live music performances by the top musicians of the time. We'll be going more in depth in the original episodes in our future video. While a good portion of the show was filmed on the iconic set, You Can't Do That on Television featured many reoccurring skits that took place elsewhere. Some of the skits included were the opposite sketches.
I know what's going on. This is just the introduction to the opposite sketches. Right.
El Capitan.
Aren't they gonna shoot me first?
No, they got a rush, and you better rush too. You don't want to be late for school, kid.
No, wait a minute, come back here. You promised you were gonna shoot me first. Hey, come back here. Fire! Fire? I'm dead.
The Classroom.
Doesn't anyone else in this class know the answer to anything?
Yes, sir.
Dougie.
Who's the world's nerdiest know-it-all?
Matthew.
According to the encyclopedia, me.
Detention.
Sir, I want you to copy out pages 403 through 896,781.
Home.
Why are you doing this? It's past our bedtime.
Because your mother said so.
Mother said. What did she say exactly?
Exactly. She said be sure to put the children outside and say goodnight to the cat. Good night, cat.
Dad, you got it all mixed up.
The Dungeon.
It's Christine McGlade.
What? She isn't a star?
Well, I can see right into her dressing room.
What? Give me that. You call that exciting?
Yeah.
Boy, you have been in here too long.
And of course, Barth's Burgery.
Until the touch of your lips broke the spell. Ribbit.
You did put frogs in the burger.
Here, put some ketchup on it here.
Oh, gross.
For those curious or unfamiliar, the opposite sketches were where typical everyday things would be reversed, like the kids' parents cleaning the kids' bedroom and making the kids go out to a party, parents making kids stay up all night on a school night, or the always funny parent wants to go to a party and the kids won't let them because the kid grounded the parent. Funny stuff indeed. The El Capitan skits were comprised of a cast member being sent in front of a firing squad, usually just for being a kid or not doing homework or other random kid stuff. These skits would often end with the kid tricking El Capitan into being shot by the firing squad, or the amigos, as the captain and cast would often call them. In the classroom skits, the kids would feature in school-based hijinks, usually 1 or 2 line jokes that had to do with the teacher being a total doof, or the kids just being goofy, typical public schools. The detention skits were very similar to the classroom skits, only in these it would be 1 cast member, 2 if there was one chained to the wall in the background, and the principal having a back and forth, usually resulting in the cast member talking their way out of detention and saying the phrase, "Sometimes it's so easy, I'm ashamed of myself."
Sometimes it's so easy. I'm ashamed of myself.
The skits set in the home were meant to depict a family life in a satirical manner. These would often have either one or both of the parents and 1 or 2 of the cast members acting out a family situation, like bills, going out, bedtime, siblings, meals, and chores. Then there were the mildly creepy dungeon skits, where 1 to 3 cast members would be chained up in a dank dungeon and held prisoner for a variety of reasons, from being too short, or in the case of Lisa Ruddy, talking too much, as well as not doing chores or being too smart. The prisoner cast members would be chained up with another recurring character that only appeared in these skits, none other than one of our favorites, Hodgkins the Skeleton.
Hodgkins, your date is here.
Finally, we come to Barth's Burgers. These were some of the most disturbing skits on the show. They would feature a variety of cast members eating in a diner named Barth's Burgery, And we can tell you, Gordon Ramsay would need more than 24 hours to get that place back from hell.
Your kitchen's a war zone. You serve mold to me out there.
You see, this isn't your normal restaurant, because when you come to Barth's, you will likely encounter several of the following. Roaches, roadkill, lost people, and lost pets that may or may not have been turned into food, booger, snot, slime, mold, hair, old food, leftovers, half-eaten food, barf, and barf buckets.
We also can't forget, if no barf buckets are available, Barth usually has some form of kitchen equipment or a dish he's making that he will happily let you use to barf in.
I heard that.
There were also skits that were set in places like Blips Arcade, Summer Camp, the library, and backstage, as well as street interviews with kids of that age range. These will be covered in our more in-depth episode we've previously mentioned. As far as the cast and crew of this show, this is where it gets interesting. The program would help jumpstart the careers of several popular people you might have heard of today. The ensemble of the primary cast for You Can't Do That on Television was comprised of Christine Moose McGlade, Lisa Motormouth Ruddy, Alistair Gillis, Matt Godfrey, Doug Potomi, Vanessa Lindores, Kevin Kubacheski, Adam Reed, and Alanis Morissette.
Yep, that Alanis Morissette. You know, the singer and songwriter that played God in Dogma.
Not to mention the memorable Abby Heggyard and Les Lye, whom would play almost all of the adult characters in the show. However, they'll always be Mom and Dad.
Shameless plug!
Before we move on with this lesson, if you guys are enjoying yourselves, please do us a favor and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and turn on notifications so you can see all of our weird, creepy, odd, strange, or eccentric content as soon as we get it out to you. Now, without further wasting your time, back to the video. Hey everybody, it's slime time! So now we get to the good stuff. The green slime, pies, and buckets of water. As we all know, You Can't Do That on Television was responsible for introducing the world to the iconic green slime. However, I'll bet you didn't know that it wasn't originally as fun as it looked. The origin of the iconic green slime. The origin of the iconic green slime is not as pleasant as you might think. According to the book Slimed, an oral history of Nickelodeon's golden age, the original slime was developed by accident. Darby had originally planned to use a bucket of food leftovers from the studio cafeteria with water mixed into it to be dumped on Tim, but the production of that first episode was delayed by a week, and when the time came to shoot the scene, the stuff in the bucket had turned green with mold. Surprisingly, due to time constraints, Darby actually authorized the rancid, disgusting, moldy mixture to be dumped on Tim anyway. As luck would have it, Roger Price was furious when he found out, but the response from the viewing audience was so positive that Darby and Price decided to write an entire show around the slime, The Green Slime Show, and on March 17th, 1979, which was also St. Patrick's Day, and the day The Green Slime Show would either be recorded or aired, Lisa Ruddy would end up setting the You Can't Do That on Television record that can never be broken by being the target of 6 separate slimings. Also, during this episode, the iconic phrase, "I don't know," would be used as the slime's trigger phrase, and just like that, green slime and saying "I don't know" became synonymous and infamous. As the show progressed, the cast and fans would wonder what the green slime was made of. And that's right, you guessed it, we have the answers. As previously mentioned, the first green slime was made out of rancid, moldy kitchen scraps and water. Later, it was then changed after several complaints from the cast and would be made of lime green gelatin powder, oatmeal, and water. Following further complaints by the female cast members about it being too hard to wash out of hair, baby shampoo would be added to help alleviate this problem.
Along with shows like How I Met Your Mother, Robot Chicken, and News Radio, one of our favorite Nickelodeon shows did a tribute to this awesome green stuff when Fanboy and Chum Chum aired on an episode called Slime Day. We say check it out if you're able. It's amazing.
The final years of the show's life had Alistair Gillis writing for the show, along with Kevin Kubacheski being a producer on the show instead of being cast members. The ratings started to fall. Our guess it had something to do with the original cast being gone or having left the program. As of 2021, we have read that you can find all of Season 1 on streaming service, but tracking down other episodes has proven to be very difficult. As it would seem, a lot of these episodes have been lost to time, unfortunately. But we will never stop our search. In recent years, unfortunately, there have been talks of rebooting this totally rad show, and the only thing that we can say to you is please don't.
Please let this be the great thing it was, and don't taint it.
And with that, we've come to the end of the lesson. We hope you enjoyed this super slimy look at You Can't Do That on Television with our School of Boredom Nickelodeon Edition 102. You can't do that on television, so we made a YouTube video. I've been your host, Bats, and as usual, think for yourselves and keep it creepy.
Nickelodeon.
Whether you're just a kid or a kid at heart, you've undoubtedly seen or heard of Nickelodeon's iconic green slime. As we mentioned in our Nickelodeon School of Boredom lesson, Nickelodeon N102, You Can't Do That on Television, green slime became a mainstay with Nickelodeon. Since You Can't Do That on Television was the first show that the slime debuted on, the green slime was not invented in the United States. Beginning on February 3rd, 1979, the original green slime consisted of garbage. That's right, folks, garbage. The director had ordered the kitchen staff to save the leftover food scraps in a bucket to be used in the sketch. Originally, there had been a sketch where a bucket of sewage was attached to a string, and the joke would be, whatever you do, kid, don't pull the chain. And so it was planned to put some water in the bucket of scraps. The problem being, the bucket had not been needed immediately and was placed in a corner for a week. As leftover food tends to do, in that time period it grew over 8 inches of green gunk, and due to budget restraints it was decided to use it in the sketch anyway. Gross. The child actor was unaware of what the bucket contained, and when it was dumped, everyone on set could smell the rotting, stinking mess of food leftovers. Creator and co-producer Roger Price and Jeffrey Darby knew they were onto something after the sketch had received a lot of laughs. In 1981, You Can't Do That on Television would be picked up by Nickelodeon, and as stated in our School of Boredom lesson, was an instant success with American viewers. Price and Darby wanted the slime to be their gimmick, which was a very wise choice. They did realize, however, that they couldn't continue using leftover food scraps for the slime. Price and Darby wanted to find a new, better way to give the slime a good texture and be non-toxic. Since the slime was meant to be poured on people, the duo tried edible components. The first experiment involved green jello that was not completely formed and some flour. It proved to make a good splat, but wasn't thick enough for a good slime. Price and Darby were not to be beat, though, and they next tried green food-colored cream of wheat. Unfortunately, they would also fail on this attempt, as the actors would complain it was too hard to wash out of their hair. But Price and Darby, who would not be thwarted no matter what it took, found a combination that actually worked. For almost all of the 10-season run, the green slime was made of cream of wheat, cooking oil, green food coloring, and a certain baby shampoo that promises not to make you cry. Nickelodeon loved the idea and did what networks do and wanted to expand on it by creating a game show for kids on October 6th, 1986 called Double Dare. The whole point of Double Dare was to get as messy as possible and win prizes for it. What could be better? Double Dare would end up using gallons of the green slime for each episode, so it required the formula to be changed to meet the demand. The original green slime recipe was too complicated and took too much time to make. Plus, the formula needed to be changed due to the insurance company insisting on the ingredients being edible. The insurance company insisted this as the obstacles and physical challenges might contain slime that got into kids' mouths. Plus, there was a problem with having the cream of wheat in the recipe as it would harden under the stage lights. It was at this point that Nickelodeon would change the recipe again. This time to vanilla pudding, oatmeal, applesauce, and green food coloring. This worked much better for Nickelodeon too, as the ingredients were cheap and could be bought in bulk. Also, it was relatively easy to make a huge batch to satisfy the needs of Double Dare. Since Double Dare's success, there have been many shows and cartoons on Nickelodeon that have been slimed, such as Fanboy and Chum Chum, Wild and Crazy Kids, Wienerville, and SpongeBob SquarePants, just to name a very, very few. Again, anytime somebody brings up Nickelodeon, you automatically think of it as the network with the green slime. When Nickelodeon began airing the Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards, a sliming turned into a rite of passage. Partially because of this, kids and adults alike, even celebrities, consider it an honor to be able to be slimed. The green slime is so iconic that in 2003, Nickelodeon would join up with General Mills to come out with a limited edition cereal called Nickelodeon Green Slime. It had green cereal pieces meant to be splats of slime and orange marshmallows shaped like the Kids' Choice Award blimp. You knew what adults in your life were the coolest because they knew it was the highest honor to be slimed. After all, it was every kid's dream.
Shameless plug!
Hey everybody, if you're enjoying the video, please click like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can see all of our weird, creepy, odd, strange, or eccentric content as soon as we get it out to you. Now without further ado, back to your video. Now before we go, there is another method that you can use to make slime at home. So grab a notepad because this one takes 4 ounces of washable school glue, 1 to 2 drops of food coloring, 1/4 cup water, 1/2 teaspoon baking soda, 2 to 3 cups of shaving cream, and 2 to 3 tablespoons of saline solution. If you use this method to make slime, the slime will not be edible. However, the Nickelodeon method is edible, but it tastes really bad. So try both ways, see which one you like better, and let us know in the comments section below. And with that, we've come to the end of this video. My name is Bats, and I hope you enjoyed this School of Boredom Extra Credit Nickelodeon edition on the iconic green slime.
The Wheel of Fortune runs over people and flattens them. Will not be seen at this time, so you may have the bad luck of watching the following program.
It's the 1980s and you're sitting at home watching your favorite shows on Nickelodeon when you begin to wonder what it would be like. What if you could be like your favorite Nick stars or feel like a contestant on Double Dare right in your own home? And you may have wondered what it feels like to get green slime dumped all over you as well. Well, Nickelodeon had your back because they took notice of this possibility and created products kids could use at home that would not make a mess, but in fact would clean them up.
On a rickety-low, while living #1 Nickelodeon.
Taking note of kids' attraction to the totally rad You Can't Do That on Television, Nickelodeon quickly set forth to find a way to let kids get slimed at home without pissing off their parents and messing up the house. In fact, the product they came up with would not generally make a mess, but it would clean you up as well, because this is when they came up with the Nickelodeon Green Slime Soap product. We can't pin down an exact year, but sometime in the mid-1980s, Nickelodeon released Nickelodeon You Can't Do That on Television Green Slime Shampoo. You know, Goat, I always wanted to try green slime shampoo as a kid.
Not me, but did you know, although we will be doing a quickie later about all the prizes given away on Double Dare, the green slime shampoo was used as a prize on the show early on?
No, I didn't know that, and I'm actually kind of excited to see all the prizes they had on Double Dare. The green slime shampoo was not the only item in this line though, because they also had green slime hand soap. The back of the bottle for the shampoo does have a little information. It reads as follows: Nickelodeon's Green Slime Shampoo.
Gotta make a goat's note here. I noticed that the registered trademark icon is before the apostrophe. That's kind of weird.
That does seem weird. Is this common? Well, it's Nickelodeon. Anyway, it continues. Won't turn you green, just get you clean. Now everyone can get slimed the easy and clean way with Green Slime Shampoo. This shampoo boasts that it makes washing hair fun, keeps hair clean and shiny, and it's gentle enough to use every single day. Okay, it says it was developed with kids in mind. This mild formula is safe for children and pH balanced for their sensitive skin. Kids will love using Green Slime Shampoo, and you'll love your kids' clean, fresh smelling hair. Okay, we know how shampoo works. As with any soap product, avoid contact with eyes and do not ingest. Then a bunch of ingredients I'm not going to try to pronounce. And these bottles came in 8-ounce size, and you can see plenty of them online.
Now I'm guessing some of our viewers are wondering if you can get this product in 2023.
Well, the answer is kind of.
Kind of? That's what kind of answer is that?
Well, I'll explain. Okay, so through our research, we found a few places online, and as far as we can tell, you can't find vintage green slime soap or shampoo for sale, even on eBay. However, you can find updated versions of the shampoo, as well as various soaps online. Although the suave, squishy purple coconut seems to have a bit of a high markup in price for some reason. As a matter of fact, the truth is, you can find a wide variety of Nickelodeon personal care products online and in many different stores as of 2023, and we're sure they will not be stopping anytime soon. But as far as this quickie about green slime soap, it was a marketing idea by Nickelodeon to sell green-colored soap using the "you can't do that on television" popularity, proving that as long as a company has a property that is highly loved, they can even sell soap to kids. I always wanted to try it as a kid, but I also wanted to go on a Nick show and get slimed. However, I never got the chance to do either. But maybe you did. So tell us your favorite Nickelodeon product experiences in the comment section below, because we love to hear your stories. And with that, we've come to the end of another School of Boredom Nickelodeon Edition Quickie. I've been your host, Bats, and this has been Nickelodeon Green Slime Soaps. Won't turn you green, we'll get you clean.
Real people's armpits will not be seen at this time, in order that we may bring you the following disjointed program.
In an era where everything came covered in slime, slime adjacent or related to slime in one way or another, Nickelodeon, of course, would not be one to be left out of this trend. So, of course, today's video is all about Nickelodeon GAC.
Nickelodeon.
We have covered Double Dare in several videos, and today's lesson continues to show how Double Dare sparked many new products and toys. Double Dare host Mark Summers and the crew referred to the slime used on the show as GAC, blissfully unaware of the more adult meaning for this particular term. Although research does show that the team was unaware of the more controversial usage of said term. Originally premiering in 1992, GAC quickly became Nickelodeon Mattel's most popular compound and was similar to a product that Wham-O made called Super Stuff from the 1960s. GAC was then reissued in 1994 for a limited edition deluxe gift set. This 1994 gift set included 2 canisters of Floam and 1 canister of the iconic GAC.
Floam was basically Nickelodeon slime with little styrofoam balls, which made it easy to mold into whatever shape you needed.
GAC's main marketing strategy was built on the fact that unlike some other similar products in the marketplace, this one made a fart noise when put back into its iconic container. The normal container would hold about 4 fluid ounces of GAC and was made for boys and girls aged 6 and up. The container itself was clear in what appeared to be a splat shape. You know, Nickelodeon. Now, of course, kids are going to love that sound, as well as the ability for the GAC itself to stretch. The back of the package shows 2 kids stretching out their GAC, and it notes, "Keep GAC where it lives and it won't dry up. Make rude noises when you stuff GAC into its splat, thwat." Now, of course, as time has gone by, there have been many different types of GAC, such as Gak in the dark, which glowed like many glow-in-the-dark items after you put them under a light source. Solar Gak, which changed color when in sunlight and was manufactured in 1995. Smell My Gak from 1996. It included scents such as pickles, flowers, vanilla, popcorn, hot dog, pizza, baby powder, and sunscreen. In 2013, scents of green apple, bacon, stinky shoe, and garbage were added. Gak came with accessories and activity sets such as Gak Pack, which came with 3 different colored Gaks in one big container. Gak's Alive, which was a black Gak that had magnetic particles in it, and it came alive with a magic wand that had a magnet in it so you can make the Gak seemingly move by itself. The Gak Inflator is a machine that allowed you to blow up the Gak like a bubble, which could then be popped again and again and again and again and again. Then there were the Gakoids. They didn't have the normal splat container, but instead looked like different creatures where you could make the Gak pop out of their eyes, noses, and mouth. Then there was Mood Gak. Similar to Solar Gak, this one would also change colors, only this one would do so with the temperature of touch, sort of like a mood ring. And Galactic Gak. It came out in 2014 and introduced translucent glittery Gak. This was also cool as the container came in forms themed after space and shooting stars or an atom. In between 2012 and 2017, Gak got the current Nickelodeon branding and continued to fly off the shelf. Here in 2023, you can still purchase Gak and even the original 1992 Gak if you really want to. If you do decide you want to get the original 1992 Gak, you will need to be prepared to spend a few hours on eBay and willing to spend $50 to $100 American dollars.
Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon.
In previous videos, we have covered Nickelodeon's green slime, but what you may not have known is that it was also a cereal. Well, in 2003, General Mills, the cereal giant, partnered with Nickelodeon to create a unique and limited edition cereal for the Kids' Choice Awards.
The Kids' Choice Awards will be covered in an upcoming video, if we get enough requests.
The original cereal would be called, of course, Nickelodeon Green Slime Cereal. And this cereal consisted of orange marshmallows shaped like Nickelodeon blimp logos, and corn puffs covered in a green slime flake material. This cereal should have been a perfect fit and a hit with kids. However, people didn't like the taste or smell of the cereal, and it was quickly discontinued later in 2003. It's slime for breakfast. Even I'm a hardcore Nickelodeon fan, and that throws me off. After some extensive research, we were unable to find a box of the cereal anywhere. The closest thing we were able to find was an ad on eBay to buy just the box, but it has already been sold. And speaking of being sold, we actually have a lot of cool stuff over on our Patreon, and most of it's in our free member tier. So head on over there and check it out. And while you're there, get our link to our Discord. But for now, let's move on. But Nickelodeon Green Slime Cereal would not be the only green slime cereal that would come out. Because in 2022, Kellogg's, another cereal giant, would use their brand of Apple Jacks to team up with Nickelodeon and create Apple Jacks Slime Cereal. This cereal was supposed to taste like green apples and would turn your milk green using green flecks in the corn puff. The green milk was then meant to be dumped on your head so you yourself could, of course, be slimed. Really? That's what the script...
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's what the kids liked. They could be slimed. Adults, not so much.
Okay. This limited time cereal had both kids and adults excited. Unless, of course, those adults have to clean the kitchen. Most people thought it tasted good and loved the green slime, too. Here in 2025, you can actually still purchase it on eBay for around $20, but there aren't that many for sale. Also, Kellogg's does sometimes sell it in Walmart, but it's definitely a rare item to find in the wild. I'm not exactly sure where I stand on this one, as I don't really remember getting a chance to try it, but the latter version does sound like it would taste better. And now that I have no idea what to tell you what I think, you can let me know what you think, because now you know, I've just gotta ask. Did you ever get a chance to taste the General Mills Nickelodeon Slime Cereal or the Kellogg's Slime Cereal? If so, which one did you prefer? And if not, what was your favorite cereal, snack, toy, TV show, movie, game, or other memory from your childhood? Did we forget anything, get something wrong, or leave something out? Do you have a suggestion for a future video, or maybe you just want to drop in and say hi? Either way, feel free to head on down to the comment section because, as usual, we look forward to hearing from you. And with that, unfortunately, we've come to the end of another Macabre'Gorium Lab showcase of things likely forgotten with Nickelodeon Green Slime Cereal.
Fame will not be seen at this time, but is being desperately sought after by each member of our cast. Who do they think they are?
Nick, Nickelodeon. Nick, Nickelodeon.
Most office buildings have decorations outside. Most of those decorations are fountains, from the extremely simple to the extremely intricate. But there was only one Nickelodeon Studios, and its fountain was probably the most unique and memorable. As most of us know, Nickelodeon Studios was located on Soundstage 18 at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida.
It was taped at Nickelodeon Studios, Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida.
The Nickelodeon Studios building was brightly painted and looked like a lot of fun, and in the front, you guessed it, they had the fountain. This fountain would debut on June 7th, 1990 as part of the Universal Park opening. Nickelodeon would actually interrupt their regularly scheduled programming by going live directly from the fountain. Now you're probably thinking, so what? What's the big deal? A fountain is just a fountain. Well, let me tell you something. You would be extremely wrong. This wasn't a normal fountain. After all, this is Nickelodeon. Instead, they had
the Slime Geyser.
The debut of the iconic fountain was such a huge event that they even had several people wearing scientist coats that would show up and start the geyser for the first time. Initially, it took a second for the geyser to go from water to slime, but it was well worth the wait. Even though the geyser would have a soft debut on June 7th of 1990, it would have an official opening on October 27th of 1990. The October debut included Russell Johnson, the professor on Gilligan's Island. Big fan. Stay tuned. The geyser started out as green and white with silver pill-shaped boilers and several hoses attaching the parts together. However, in later years, it would be changed and repainted green. I'm not gonna lie, it does look like something one might find at Willy Wonka's testing facilities. Based on what we've learned, in the beginning, the slime would erupt with enough force that anybody standing in the vicinity would get covered in slime. However, this slime was thinner so that it wouldn't clog up the geyser, and since the geyser could slime people, it would be harder to wash chunks of slime out of their hair. Eventually, Nickelodeon would go on to lower the pressure, and there were a ton of safety procedures in place. The geyser would shoot the iconic Nickelodeon green slime up 25 feet in the air, and this would erupt every 15 minutes. However, according to legend, it is said that during special events they would ramp up the pressure to make the geyser fire up to 50 feet in the air. Unfortunately, the slime fountain was removed in May of 2005 when Nickelodeon closed the studios. We tried to find out what happened to the geyser after it was removed, and after a lot of research, here's what we could find. After the removal from Nickelodeon Studios, it was dismantled, but some of the parts were used in other Nickelodeon attractions. And that's really about it. And I remember seeing this pretty much after every Nickelodeon show and during plenty of interstitials while I was a kid, and I always wanted to go see it. Unfortunately, I've never had a chance to make it over to the East Coast, but I would like to go see the remnants one day. Anyway, now you know what I think? I've just got to ask. Did you ever get a chance to get slimed by the Nickelodeon Geyser Fountain? If so, let us know what it was like and if it was as fun as it seemed to be. And if not, what was your favorite childhood snack, toy, show, movie, or other memory? Did we forget anything, get something wrong, or leave something out? Do you have a suggestion for a future video, or maybe you just want to drop in and say hi? Either way, feel free to head on down to the comments because we look forward to hearing from you. And with that, we've come to the end of another Macabre'Gorium Lab showcase of things likely forgotten Nickelodeon edition video. I've been your host, Bats, and I hope you had a good time today as we discuss today's topic, the flowing history of the Nickelodeon Slime Geyser Fountain. Slime time again. Well, thanks for checking out this compilation. I hope you had a good time. And if you want to see more of these long form videos, let us know in the comments section below. Until next time, think for yourselves, be excellent to each other, and keep it creepy. I know we've been kind of lacking on the uploads lately, and we'll make an update video about that coming soon, but I've actually wanted to make a couple of these compilation long plays for a while, and Goats and I have been talking about doing some commentary videos that we'll put up over on the Patreon, starting all the way back with our very first video, which didn't exactly age the greatest, but it's going to be fun to look back on it and see where we were compared to where we are now. So anyway, if you had fun, please hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We'll see you in the next one. Keep it creepy.